Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Hassan Amin and today I'm going to present about the topic, the issue of unemployment in Pakistan. So before starting my presentation, I would like to say that during my presentation, if you have any question, just ask me because it would be very a good favor for me because I can evaluate myself whether I'm good in giving the answer question immediately or feel hesitation still. So let's get started with my presentation. So the first point, why we have high unemployment rate in Pakistan, is very important point in my point of view. I think there's an imbalance between the educational institutes and the industrial sector. That's why we have a high unemployment rate because most of the time, most of the universities they offer those programs that, in my point of view, that are not high demand in Pakistan, but that will not be high demand in future. I would say. So that's why these kind of students, when they get out the university, when they have a degree in hand, they end up having nothing. Like they have nothing in the industrial sectors, and because most of the industries, what they demand, they don't have in hand at that time. So after that, I would say that most of the universities they just focus on increasing the number of seats of the students. Like in the university, I have got a degree from a university. It's a public university. In that university, the evening seats are much more, it's four times as compared to the morning seats. Just because, like in evenings shift, the fees of the student is four times as compared to the morning student. So this shows that how much they have a mentality to earn more and more money from the students. They are not interested to give the skills to the students in order to develop the skills and go to brighten their future at the end. So this is my first point. There is an imbalance that we have in our society that's increasing, leading toward the high unemployment rate and also the high inflation rate in Pakistan. So this is my first point. After the second point is that why we have a high unemployment rate is just because we have a culture of nepotism in Pakistan, and in simple word I will say the favoritism. Like most of the time, if you want to get a good job in Pakistan, you will have to have a very strong reference. Otherwise, it would be very difficult. No matter how much you have a skill, no matter how much you have qualification, how much you have experience, all you need, you have to have a very good reference. So a good example I want to give you. Could you please tell me who is the foreign minister of Pakistan right now? Anyone, if you could tell me who is the foreign minister of Pakistan? I think foreign minister Bilal Bhutto Zardari. Do you think that does he have any skill to be on that position? Absolutely not. He's not capable of that to be on that position. So I think this is a perfect example of nepotism we have right now. So that's why it's actually most of our young people they're desperate to move out of the country because they have degrees, they have skills, they have experience, but still they're not getting the job because they don't have good reference in hand. So just go to the basic websites, you will get to know how much people they want to leave the country. It doesn't mean that they are not patriotic, they don't love country, but they think that if they decide to stay here, their entire career would be at stake. So this is my second point of why most of the people they are not getting job while they have degrees, they have proper qualification, still they are unemployed because we are suffering from a nepotism in Pakistan. After that, the third point, why we have high unemployment rates, I think Pakistan have very low industrial growth. And most of the time, the foreign investors feel fear to invest in our country because just because of the political instability, they are not sure the policies they have right now will these political policies will stay in future or not when they will have a new government in power. So just because of this political instability, we have a very low industrial growth, leading towards a very low, very high unemployment rate and very high inflation rate in Pakistan. So this, I would say, this political instability is also crippling our industrial sector. I must say. So this is the third point why we have high unemployment rate in Pakistan. After that, the fourth main reason of high unemployment rate, I think most of the students, when they go out of the university, when they have degree in their hand, they have just a piece of paper. They don't have any skill that most of the time most of the industries demand. So with these kind of education communication, these kind of skills, when they go to the industries, find a job, they face very tough time in order to get a job. And not only in Pakistan, when these students, when they go out the country, they also face the same tough time, because in that situation they have to face, they have to compete with the international students and the native nationals who have very high skill set as compared to the Pakistani students. So not only they struggle in their own country, but also outside the country. Like when I was in my university, most of the time we did not have enough instrument to perform the practical. So with such kind of opportunities in Pakistan, how could we flourish our future? How could we flourish our career? How could we actually brighten our career with such kind of opportunities in our country? So this is my fourth point, why we have a high unemployment rate in Pakistan. After that, the fifth point, which is also very important, I think, which is very important for the youngster, for the adults, I would say. I think most of the new generation, they have a very bad mindset. They think that once we graduate, we will have a good white collar job in hand immediately. This is a very wrong mindset. Just make it clear that you have to face the worst in order to get the best. But most of the time, most of the students, they don't want to face the worst at the first sight. As I said 2 days back in a speech, that a lot of odd jobs are available all the time in our country. But most of the graduates, they don't prefer to do these kind of jobs. They feel ashamed of doing this. But when these students, these graduates, when they go out the country, they do the same odd jobs of 1 to 2 years, for 5 years even, in order to get a good job, until they get a good job at the end. So this, I would say that we must be patient. We need to make it clear that we have to face a tough time in order to get a good time. So that's all my point. It will cover all the aspects that why we have a high unemployment rate in Pakistan. If you have any question, just ask me. Do ask me, I would say. Okay. So how can people get job in Pakistan? I think in Pakistan, I would say, if you have a, it's not about that you have a good piece of paper, you have a good piece of paper from a NUMS or LUMS. It's not matter at all. All it matter, if you go to the industry, you will get to know that if you have a good skill, it's very easy to find a job in Pakistan. Uh, as I said earlier, no doubt we have a very low industrial growth that is making very difficult for a youngster to find a job. But I think if you have a good profession, if you have a high demanding degree in your hand, high demanding skill, then you will not find any difficulty to find that job at the end. Any question? Would you like to share any suggestion for those students who have a high degree and still they are jobless? They have skill also, but they have still jobless. So what about your suggestion, especially for their parents? I think first of all, I would come back to one step before starting your university career. Like you need to consult, you need to have counseling before entering into any profession. Most of the time, people select those professions which don't have demand in our country, that will not have demand in the future, I would say. So these kind of students, when they have a degree in their hand, they end up having nothing. They end up having no skills. No, most of the time they have skills, but they cannot utilize the skills in, in their country. So what they do, they actually move out the country in order to find a good and good career, a good job at the end. So that's why I think we need to have a good profession. We need to make it clear that which degree has a good demand in my country, which career would better my future in my own country. We need to take into account first of all. Any question? Do you think we have any solution to out of this kind of unemployment rate? Yeah, I think the most important point that I might want to mention here, that I think government has to focus on the industrial sector. Like we don't have the big industries in our country. We don't have, as I said earlier, most of the foreign investors, most of the powerful people, they actually feel fear to invest in our country. That's why we don't have industries. When we don't have industry, we don't have a high vacancies of employees in our country. So that's why it actually end up having high unemployment in Pakistan. Like just have example of developed country, they have Amazon in their country, which is very largest. I would say the vacancy hub in those countries. We don't have such kind of facilities. Even already we have those the industries that we already have in our country. They are also facing very high difficulties. they're actually going for a proposal, I would say, speaking skills in front of all. So that's what I've achieved, and it's your duty to evaluate myself that whether I have achieved this duty or not. So thanks to Sir Salman and also to the entire administration who give me an opportunity to enhance my skills, to have my speaking skills that will definitely help in my future.
Okay, thank you so much. Go back to your seat. Thank you.